Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Magic City Neighbors on the mic. I am Josh. Sitting next to me is Jack, and across the table we have Denny Liddle, who has done maybe a couple of things around Barberton, but we're going to talk about the Rib Fest this week, which should be pretty interesting. Stay tuned. You're listening to Magic City Neighbors on the mic, where we talk to your Barberton neighbors about their stories, their insights, and what gets them laughing. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And now, to the show.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Please like, subscribe, and share this with your Magic City neighbors.
Well done, sir. I think this is going to be our new format. This should be the new format.
Setup.
So that's for sure. Denny, thank you for taking the time to come in here, especially as we're into August. I'm assuming with the Labor Day Rib and Music Festival, you have a few things going on. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes, it is.
Good.
We're in the thick of it.
Yeah, that seems about right. So the big question is how did this start? I mean, where did this come from?
So that's a great question, and it's interesting how it all evolved, because my understanding is that decades ago there used to be a Labor Day festival, and it just gradually faded out, went away. About 6 to 8 years ago, I was on the Salvation Army board, and we were trying to figure out ways to create funding for the Salvation Army, and I brought up the idea that maybe we should do something, because Barberton had fireworks, but there was nothing else. And I said, why don't we tag on to that, create a big festival that we can bring more people down and raise money? And then everybody liked the idea. We set up a fund at the Barberton Community Foundation, so that all the proceeds went to a Barberton Charities Fund, which would benefit the Salvation Army, Backham, and other local charities.
Nice. So basically, you opened your mouth with a good idea, and now you have a festival.
Yes.
Yes, good move.
Yeah,
and it works.
I mean, it's been a huge benefit for the community. I'm sure it's been a little bit of a time suck for you.
Yes. To say the least.
So to me, what is the future of this whole then? So we've got 6-8 years of the past. And I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some people in the community that remember 20, 30 years in the past of this. Then there's the gap. So what is the future of this then?
That's the exciting part, because when we started this, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago, and in between there, it was a one-day festival on Saturday with the fireworks. The next year, it went so well that we got great feedback. There were no problems. The city loved it. We started expanding. We went to 2 days, and then we went to 3 days, and then we went to 4 days. And unfortunately, when you're doing that, there's not a lot more volunteers aren't coming out to help. So It just creates a lot more work.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for charities that might want to take it over, because the real goal on this is I want to see a festival similar to the Mum Festival that brings in 20, 30,000 people, and we can really expand it. And there's so much potential, but we just didn't have the resources. So the plan right now is, and if you haven't heard, Main Street Barberton is here. And the plan, and I've already got approval from both boards, we're going to turn over the Labor Day Festival, will be turned over to Main Street Barberton in 2024.
Awesome. So there's a baked-in, they've got an event ready to go. They just need to, you hand them the keys, and you get more sleep, and they get a pre-made event.
That's what I tell my wife, but she's saying that's not happening. You know they're going to have you still running it, because I'm on the board at Main Street.
Yeah, I kind of. So you're handing them the keys, but you're still going to be in the car.
Yeah, we have a great board there, though. That'll be the nice thing. There's probably 20, 30 people on our board and our committees that'll be able to help expand this to where we really think it can go.
That's awesome. Yeah. To me, that's a huge part of that. So it's cool that you're able to hand that off in a way that's going to allow it to grow, and in tandem really with the Main Street program, because that's what it's all about. It's getting people down here to enjoy this area right outside the studio, which to me is, there's so much potential here that we've got. This is what's so exciting about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so, in doing this, how do you? I guess I would say, how does it actually make money then?
So we go out, we solicit. There's so many ways. I mean, I'm trying to think. We solicit vendors. So like we have national rib vendors that travel all over. They come in and they pay to have their spot at the festival. And we have been sold out for 4 or 5 years with the national rib vendors. As soon as they participate, they love it and they want to come back.
Keep going.
So yeah, we get funds from that. We do have a beer garden, so obviously that generates a lot of funds because we have a great band lineup. This year we have 7 different bands on Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. So a lot of people will come out, listen to the bands, have a beer, eat some ribs. So yeah, we do just do a lot of fundraising things. There's a fishing derby, there's a car show. So there's just a lot going on throughout the weekend. We have a kids area with blow-ups and entertainers that come in and entertain the children and face painting. And so there's quite a few things that people can enjoy. Nothing's real expensive, but all together, it helps us generate money to continue doing the Labor Day Festival and generate money for the charities. So
that's awesome. So it really is. So it's an event that basically is for the community that also supports the community.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah, works well together.
Yeah. Speaking of all the bands in that, I believe Jack has some questions.
Yeah. So we know it's not simple to be able to pull this all off. What are some of like the behind the scene things that go down to really be able to get it to work?
Oh, you know,
you don't know where to start, do you?
I don't. I mean, there's just a lot when you're trying to secure enough food vendors and make sure they all have their license and permits and your bands.
Stuff you don't even think about.
And we start the day after the festival's over. We start trying to book bands for the following year.
Wow.
And like this year, it's coming up with themes. This year we have Saturday will be I think the country music day.
Okay.
And then Sunday's the rock and roll day. So we have you got to have your big closing band, your headliner at the end.
I was about to say the big headliner.
Yeah. So we have Disco Inferno one night on the rock night, and then which has a great following.
Yeah.
And then we have Buck Naked, the country band, as our headliner on the other night. So. And then Old School, which we added them again because we had a huge following last year, a great crowd. It was a great event on a Friday night. So
I mean, what does it take to get them here?
It's, money. Money.
I'm assuming there's more than just, here's a check, will you be here? I'm assuming with this being for charity, it takes a little more oomph or maybe a finesse.
Yeah, and it's getting in front of them quick because they all book up, and it's getting to them early and saying, this is where it's at. And now we've got name recognition. We didn't have in the first couple of years, and everybody knows the festival's just been growing, and we've been very successful. So, it's just finding the right. We set a budget at the beginning of the year, and then we have to make sure we meet our budget with all the different bands because everybody's charging something different. So,
right,
yeah.
Wow. I mean, as far as picking the rib vendors then too, how does that work?
Well, I was fortunate when I first started. I reached out to a rib vendor, and he actually is the president of the National Rib Vendors Association, which I didn't know there was one. But so that
learn something new.
That really helps because he helped us, help me out, because we didn't know what we were going to charge or how we were going to do it.
Right.
So he kind of gave me some ideas, and then. And like I said, now it's so popular. We usually get 4 or 5 throughout the year that want to participate. Well, we can only have 3 of the big national guys because they're so large.
Okay.
We don't have the power resources to add more. So,
so when you say power resources, are you talking actual electricity?
Yes. Yeah. So they need 50 amp service, and our Lake Anna entertainment area doesn't provide anymore. We can't. 3 maxes us out.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, hopefully the city, I've been talking to them, and for years we've talked about upgrades at the lake because we'd love to see this all the way around the lake someday. And they have to redo a lot of power and do some things, but hopefully someday we can expand that part of it.
That's a lot of ribs.
Yeah.
Ribbon Music Month.
So, I mean, with that, do the rib vendors then kick back to the charities, or how does that work?
Well, like I said, we make most of the money strictly off of their rental spot.
Oh,
So
okay, that makes
sense.
sense.
They pay so much money to have that spot for the weekend, and then they're at risk.
Right.
If it rains and they don't, we get our money for that spot and
Awesome.
try and keep it reasonable enough where they're willing to do it with that risk. And so far, like I said, every year we haven't had an issue. Even last year, we got rain on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
And it put a damper on things, but they still broke even or did okay.
Great. And making it a win for everyone's kind of part of that game.
Right.
If it's a win for everyone, I've always loved no one has to lose for people to win.
Yes.
And this is one of those situations where, that can happen.
Yeah. And this works out. It even goes a lot deeper because it's interesting. So you've probably heard of Backham.
Yep.
Well, so Dorothy and Backham, they help out. They will get the permits and run the beer garden. So part of the proceeds will go to their charity.
Yep.
And then we have Parks and Rec will help, and they'll run the fishing derby. And we have a church that came in and they donate all the blow-ups and they provide all the labor to run the children's area. So it's really turned into a community effort.
As everything does in Barberton.
Yeah. So
that's one of the things that I've said so many times. The sense of community in Barberton is like no place other. Yeah. The people that aren't from around here, that aren't from in Barberton, have no idea what the outside world is like and that it's just not that way.
Right.
It's one of the amazing things that we have here that I treasure.
And that's true because it doesn't matter who you talk to, you'll hear that. I've heard that for 25 years that I've been involved with organizations, and that you keep hearing it over and over and over. And even outside now, if you go to Wadsworth or anywhere, they'll talk about the difference in the sense of community here at Barberton. So
unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. Do you have anything else, or are we going to the lightning round?
I think I'm ready for the lightning round.
Are you?
I hope.
Are you prepared?
Do you need a seatbelt?
I hope.
It's okay. So, one of the things with this is one of the questions that we kind of got was how are the vendors picked? And I think you kind of pulled a little bit with that. Is it first come, first serve, or is there a process? I mean, are you taste testing stuff ahead of time, or how's this work?
Nope. Strictly reputation. So these are national rib vendors. You can go online. You can follow them. They'll have their own websites.
Yeah.
So you can see where they've been participating, what festivals they're participating in, and it's pretty easy to go through and find reputable vendors.
Yeah, because we don't want anyone coming down for bad ribs.
No.
Bad turnout.
Never happened. Never will.
Is there a year during this festival that has stood out to you throughout the years?
Wow. Probably 2 years ago was when we first talked the committee into expanding and going from 2 days to 4 days. And
It's a big jump.
every single person on the committee looked at me like I had three heads, and they're like, "Are you kidding me? You want to do it for 4 days?" But it went great. We had great weather. The bands were good. Everyone had a great time. So that one stood out.
That one is this can go really bad or really good.
Exactly.
And it went really good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. So with this, are ribs your favorite food? I mean, you've obviously you're working up for this all year because you said you started this the day after last year.
This is a bad question. I don't eat ribs. I probably have ribs once a year at this festival, just in the judging part.
That's
if I'm
good.
going to.
That's hilarious. That's I mean it is what it is. You're obviously a music fan, correct?
Yes.
See, so there's the tie-in, and I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if you get food, beer, and music in one place, you're probably going to get people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
And then my last question would be, do you participate in the festival yourself? So I guess you kind of just said that with the rib test.
Yeah.
You do a little competition.
Yeah.
I mean, so other than running around like a chicken with its head cut off trying to keep things organized,
You get to enjoy it.
Yeah, what's something you enjoy with it? I'd really like to see you in the bouncy house.
Well, you'll see that you'll probably see me in the beer garden more than any other area. And that's kind of the ongoing joke. If you need to find, if somebody has a question,
Looking
they
for
know
you, just
find
go
the
there.
beer garden. Go find the beer garden.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, we kind of, there's a couple of us that roam and watch everything and make sure that there's a lot involved. I mean, you got to make sure the trash cans aren't overflowing, the tables are getting cleaned, that there's enough room for everybody. So There's a
lot
few
of
of us
stuff.
that roam around and just make sure things are going right and are there for questions.
Just on patrol.
Yeah.
The Rib Fest patrol. I like it. We'll get maybe a hat for that or something.
We have bright yellow shirts.
it's even better.
Neon yellow that say
Oh.
volunteer on the back. So
Perfect.
you'll see them out there.
Perfect.
Do you get your 30-minute break to hit the beer garden, or do they not let you?
Well, I'm kind of the boss. I get to make my own hours.
so
So the
here-
hours.
You get an 8-hour shift at the beer garden.
Exactly.
My next question is how many of those volunteer shirts are just slathered with barbecue sauce by the end of it?
You know, I've never really looked, but that's a great idea for a contest for the
Who can
volunteers.
get the dirtiest shirt?
Yep. And do some kind of award for who's got the dirtiest shirt.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a white shirt or one of those green shirts, I cannot wear them because I will see dirt and it's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna get on that ride. No, maybe we're onto something too. That's
We're adding to it.
and we could announce that one. We'd be
Yeah,
game
there you
for
go.
announcing that competition.
Yeah.
So
I'll hold you to that one.
we'll in on that.
Appreciate
You might
it.
have to be one of our rib judges.
Yeah, for sure. Totally game for that.
Yeah.
So now we're going to come to the every person questions.
Okay.
What we've asked this of everyone, and Barberton has some interesting tall tales, folklore, or other rumors that may or may not be true. There's been a number of haunted buildings. There has been obviously a slew of rumors about Lake Anna. Is there a personal favorite for you?
Boy.
Especially with where your office is. I would think that
Well, like
Lake
you
Anna-
said, I've had all the ghost stories. I've got the ghost story books at my office. The Lake Anna, the bottomless lake.
Yeah,
and
that's
been the favorite,
That's been the
100%.
favorite so far. Is that your favorite one, or is there one that's more of a favorite for you?
No, that's probably it. It's probably the Lake Anna thing because we know that we think it's just a river-fed
Just a
lake underneath is what we've heard, but everybody thinks there's a bottomless hole down there, and
Yeah.
that there's automobiles and stuff that are still down there from many, many years ago.
Oh,
So-
I'm sure. I'm
but
sure.
yeah, no, I think
fair.
That's the
yeah,
favorite.
I've been here my whole life, so I've heard everything, seen everything, and been a part of a lot of those rumors. So, and those are the ones I don't want to go to.
I was wondering if that's where we were going with that, and that's for another show.
Yeah. And then what do you see as the future for Barberton, and where do you think we're headed, and what are bright spots specifically that you could pull out?
Wow, that's easy.
Big question,
That
but-
is easy. So like I said, for 25 years, I've been volunteering in almost every organization in town. And, sometimes you get frustrated because things just aren't moving in the direction you want. And you see a lot of efforts. For the first time the last 2-3 years, I've seen so much economic development in the city. The bringing Main Street, Barberton in is going to be huge. It's going to be impactful, and I'm 100% confident that's going to work. So I'm really excited with the economic development, the new housing developments, with Main Street, Barberton downtown. And again, Main Street, Barberton's downtown, but it's a community.
Correct.
That they're trying to improve, not just the downtown. So that's what I'm excited about. I think we're right there, and I think the next 3 to 5 years are going to be pretty phenomenal for growth for our city.
For sure.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome. That's, it's one of the things that we see too. There's just so much potential here that is we're just starting to tap that potential. And boy, once that starts flowing, it's going to be pretty
Far
amazing.
from maximizing, for sure.
Correct.
That's what we'll get
Correct.
there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. We both
thank you.
really appreciate it. I'm sure all of our Magic City neighbors appreciate it. All of you, as Jack said earlier, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with all of your Magic City neighbors. And we will see you all soon.